You might be surprised, maybe not, about what story is getting the most traction right now on social media. The buzziest story of the day, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, the defamation trial.
Okay.
That's it.
They bring out packets.
I'm speechless.
You and me both. So that's when we move on. And if only we had just moved on, but no, that was last night and we're back here tonight. Marnie Hughes was trying to explain to me the courtroom battle between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. And as you can see, that was me trying rather unsuccessfully to show the interest that I had in this story. I have no interest, but my producers thought it would be kind of a fun segment for one of my next guests to try and convince me why I should care, and to also convince my good buddy and friend that I have brought along for moral support, Tony Katz, why he should care. With that unenviable but honorable task, we bring in Caitlyn Becker. She's an Emmy award-winning journalist and the LA correspondent for Daily Mail TV. All right, the floor is yours, Caitlyn.
This is a tough road ahead. Clearly, if the two of you are not into this, the whole celebrity circus argument kind of goes out the window.
That's all him.
I think primarily, yeah, that's primarily, oh, you're here for me. Okay, great. Right. So you're here for that. Primarily the celebrity circus of it all, the voyeuristic peek behind the curtain of two people that are very high profile with a lot of money and a lot of problems with cameras in the courtroom. It's really hard to look away. It is a high-end celebrity train wreck.
But is it two trains?
Though.
Hold on, is it two trains like colliding, or is it
two
just
trains
one
coming at each
train
other?
going off?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, it is two trains colliding with one another. The Amber Heard and the Johnny Depp of it all. It just seems like one side is a little crazier than the next. But there are larger sort of implications here that have, I guess, more weight to it than the whole, like I said, circus of it all. I think if you look at it from the perspective of your team Johnny Depp, team he didn't do this, this is a really rare case where we see a high-profile man admitting that he is the victim of domestic abuse. We heard Amber Heard's soundbite. I don't know if you heard it, but it was during his testimony, they played this recorded soundbite of her kind of going after him, saying, "Go ahead,
are
tell
those
people,
crowds?
tell people that you were abused."
Hold on, are these crowds? Are they Amber supporters or Johnny Depp supporters?
They're mostly Johnny Depp supporters. These are people mostly here. Yeah, they're people mostly here for Johnny Depp. And I think if you're looking at it from the perspective of he's an abused spouse, this is a really rare opportunity to look at that and to see a man go out there and say, you know, I am a victim of domestic abuse and domestic violence, and this does happen, and it's not okay.
Never okay, but Tony, I don't know. I just never thought I would be watching this. Did you?
No, and I got to be clear. It's not that I'm spending every second watching it, but there is a lot of America absolutely watching this. You talk about that. I think it was a New York Post story or something else that shows that he has more social media mentions than any other story out there, more than abortion conversations and a whole host of things. And I don't think Julie's wrong there. You know, I mean, this idea of domestic abuse, these are serious issues. But if you ask me why I think people are watching, I think they're watching these two and asking, is my spouse this crazy? That's what they're asking. So I came up with right here. This is the Heard-Depp scale right here. So what this does is this tells you right here in the green, if you're in the green, you're not too far Johnny Depp, you're not too far Amber Heard, your relationship is okay. But anything in here, this is the trouble zone, and you need to get out of that relationship. And I think this is why people are tuning in to see whether their spouse is too far Depp or too far Amber.
Wow. If only that would now trend on social media with a hashtag. Here's some of the hashtags. We just don't like you, Amber. I stand with Johnny Depp. Justice for Johnny Depp. Amber Heard is a psychopath. Amber Turd. Amber Heard is an abuser. Caitlyn, I mean, I'm always just generically predisposed to being with the underdog. I thought Johnny Depp was supposed to be this sort of crazy guy and Amber Heard was this nice, beautiful actress. Did I have it wrong?
It seems like they're both the crazy person, if you ask me, based on what I have been watching. I will say Amber Turd is pretty good. Amber Turd is pretty, among the hashtags, Amber Turd is pretty good. But I think these hashtags also bring up a really, really solid counterpoint to my early argument for why you should care. I know why everybody else cares, but I know why you don't care. And I think that the domestic abuse angle of it is a reason that perhaps if you're not fascinated by the celebrity of it, that you can see some value in watching and learning about this. And on the other side, if you are in the camp of Amber Heard as a victim of domestic abuse, this is a peak example of what a man with power does to a woman who says that she is a victim. This is what he does to silence them. So there are two camps, and I'm not saying that I side with that, but I'm saying there's two camps and two
it seems like,
if you say of why you should care beyond it.
If you say you're Team Amber, I mean, look at all the people who are ready to come after you. It's the entire hashtag world is out after you. So I'm not going to look at my mentions tonight. All right, Tony, to you, for all of us in the political world that spend so much time on all of these issues, interactions based on news stories about various topics. Depp Heard trial 508, Elon Musk buying Twitter 417, COVID-19 is all the way down at 44, but Russia, Ukraine 91, Joe Biden 170, inflation only 70, yet when we poll people, they say inflation is the #1 issue facing America. Are we at a point where things are so bad, everybody just wants a diversion to go, those people are so crazy, at least my life isn't like that?
That's what my chart shows right there on the Heard Depp scale. I do think that's it. I don't want to ignore the argument being made about domestic abuse. I do think that is there, but I think for a lot of people, man, that's not it. It is diversion, and it's just hearing this story, hearing these people being so unbelievably awful. They're awful people, awful to each other. You are stunned and shocked and amazed by it. And so the reason this captures the attention, it's, you know, we talk about Hollywood and how detached they are. We talk about Hollywood and how they allowed Harvey Weinstein to be such this incredible abuser, and they all knew, you know, it's Ricky Gervais, you all knew, Jeffrey Epstein, you all knew, and they turned their back and they looked the other way. These are the people who lecture to us, and this is how they act and treat each other. There's sometimes a joy in realizing you could say out loud that the emperor has no clothes.
Yeah, or the emperor has a worse.
And we can watch it.
Yeah. No,
we can watch it. That's what makes this. That is what makes this difference. Because you guys, you know, remember that they already did this. They already basically did this whole thing in the UK, and cameras were not in the courtroom. So reading about it is just not as interesting as watching this happen in real time, unfold in real time. And there's those audio recordings, and there's footage, and there's pictures, and there's other famous people. That's why everyone's watching. That's why I'm watching, to be perfectly honest. However, I did come prepared with two other larger points with why this matters in a grander scale.
I get why it matters,
the whole reason we're tuning in is because it's nuts.
No, you tune in. You tune in. Yeah, for the nuts part, for the Heard Depp scale. Nature of this. I feel like the Heard Depp scale could explain so much in life, Tony. You may be on to something here. I feel like there's a book.
T-shirts will be made.
Yeah, I feel like there's a book.
I'll be writing a book.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely a book.
I want to ask, at some level, though, how much of this, and either of you can take this, are we watching a show? These are two great actors.
All of it.
Are we getting anything close to the truth, Tony?
The truth of what? That they're terrible, that one defamed the other? I mean, the whole idea of defamation seems to be kind of a lost part in this, because the more stories you hear, the more you are just stunned and amazed by it. You know, you bring up an interesting point about the fact that we can watch it, about how it took place in the UK, and we can watch it without having to pay a streaming fee. This is free entertainment in a world that costs way too much. I do think that has a part to play in it. But being able to watch a train wreck in slow motion, and then there's a wonderful parallel to the OJ case. How bad are these lawyers for Amber Heard? I mean, Julie, you tell me. How exactly, on a scale of 1 to horrific, are they as bad as they look?
I don't know if I know if I know enough about law to dictate that. I do hear Amber's attorney getting more flustered and Johnny's attorneys typically going at just throwing out objection after objection after objection to knock her off her game. And that seems pretty obviously a technique that's working. So maybe you're right there. Maybe her lawyers aren't, but she doesn't have the kind of money he does, so she can't really afford them.
Wow, I didn't even think. Yeah. All right, Caitlyn, last to you. Obviously, this is a huge story in the entertainment world. How do you cover? What has surprised you the most about this story that we didn't know before, that now is playing out, that sort of as the curtain has been pulled back, you go, oh, wow, for so long in the Amber Heard, Johnny Depp trial, we missed what?
Well, truthfully, I've been covering this for years. Both of their camps have been leaking stories to the media for years when they were all going through this in 2016, 2017, 2018. So not a lot has surprised me as someone who has covered this for a very long time. What I think has been the most shocking is to be able to watch it from the horse's mouth, to be able to hear them, see them, and particularly the audio that is brought in. That to me has been some of the more shocking, to hear them sort of in the throes of it, sort of screaming and yelling. And Amber was doing a lot of the recording, so you're hearing Johnny Depp as his absolute worst. Incoherent, belligerent, angry, and even through that, people are still really supporting him. That is the power of celebrity. That is the power of someone who you grew up watching.
You know, Tony, the producers are wrapping me, but I'm thinking to myself, oh, wow, what if we could go back and relive all of the moments of the Trump campaign and then the Trump presidency that you and I talked about with tapes of President Trump and whatever chief of staff he was firing, suing each other and listening to all of it. It would just be, we couldn't turn it off.
Well, we didn't turn off Billy Bush. I mean, we had one. We had one good piece of audio. And I, by the way, I apologize. I think I mispronounced. I used the wrong name for you before. I apologize, Caitlyn. My mistake there.
Well, these things happen. Caitlyn, it was great to see you. Thanks for staying up with us and bringing your expertise. It's an amazing story and clearly one that struck a real nerve. We'll see you both soon. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.